Well, Empire Metals is one of the few junior companies that is presenting some decent news to shareholders. This month's update confirms that ilmenite is the key titanium mineral at Pitfield in Western Australia. I'm delighted to be joined by the managing director, the executive director, Shaun Bunn. So, Shaun, to the non-geologists, this has been confirmed after the first petrographic and mineralogical study. What does this entail? Drones, sampling, and how high level are these studies?
Oh, thank you. No, thanks for taking the time to have the call there, Sarah. So, what I can say, look, let's just step back for 1 second then. So, look, a couple of months ago, we put some holes into the Pitfield Project looking for copper mineralisation. We've been through that part of the story, but we were really pleasantly surprised to find that we were hitting large intercepts, over 150 metres deep, of titanium mineralisation, and that was probably what was giving us this sort of charged response. So we went back to our databases. We went through all the historical data that we could pull together, digitised it, remapped it, and lo and behold, there was evidence of this high titanium mineralisation at surface in soils over 100 square kilometres, a massive area. So, we really started to get very excited by this. So we went back again and started saying, right, well, what is this mineralisation? So went back to the magnetic anomaly that we had mapped. We went back to the geochemistry. We went back to our photography sampling and said, well, how has this all come about? And so today's release is really important. What we can confirm is that this is a unique, it's to my knowledge, one of a kind mineral events. The titanium mineralisation sits in a sedimentary rock, a sedimentary bed, and it's caused by fluids coming up, and oxidation has occurred and iron has dropped out, but also titanium. So we are quite possibly the only known soft rock titanium deposit on the planet. And I think that's extremely exciting.
It certainly is. It sounds wonderful. I'm always nervous when I hear the word unique mentioned, because unique is a bit of a cliche, but you are a geologist of note. You've been on the field for quite some time. So I believe you. However, what I'm not quite sure I believe is the steps that the company is going to take to extract and monetize that ilmenite.
Well, some points to raise here. I spent 7 years working on mineral sands, heavy mineral sands deposits, beach sands. I'm quite familiar with the entire titanium industry, and I've never seen anything quite like this. So beach sands generally have 3 or 4% heavy minerals in the sand. Half of that might be ilmenite, and ilmenite's, when you talk about titanium oxides, ilmenite's usually about 50%. So when you distill all that down, you're talking about 1% TiO2. We're 5 times to 10 times that grade at Pitfield. That's in itself an extraordinary outcome. The second thing is there's no real magnetite present. So magnetite, which is another iron oxide mineral, quite often is associated with titanium, but in a refractory way. So having titanium magnetite, titanomagnetite, would have been a big negative for us. But we have, our photography, our mineralogy is clearly indicating, the magnetite is relict. It's destroyed. It's almost gone. It's gone to hematite. So, I could talk about the chemistry and the science. This thing is, people will want to compare us. If you want to compare us to Rio's operation in Quebec, where they've been mining, hemo titanium for 70 years and processing it, we're nothing like that. They're hard rock. So, the cost associated with mining and establishing and even processing that is extraordinary. So I'm really confident really confident that what we have found has huge potential, not only in terms of the biggest thing on the planet. The scale is hard to imagine. It's like taking Mount Everest and inverting it. You know, we're in a basin that's 10 kilometres deep, and we haven't hit the bottom of this thing yet. We'll never mine that deep. I understand that, but this thing is the Mount Everest of titanium mineralizations.
Okay.
So that's where we're starting from. Why wouldn't I now want to invest the company's efforts and focus on finding out how do I commercialize that?
Okay, but you're a small cap company with this amazing inverted Everest resource. You mentioned Rio Tinto there, so partner with them.
Oh, we could do. I mean, that's up to them. One thing people have started to learn about me, I guess, through, over now the last couple of years and several interviews is I don't stop. I intend to develop this thing in one way or another, with a partner if they want to come in, without a partner if people choose to sit back and watch. So, we will take this further and forward as we can. And at any point in time, and the shareholders also know this, I think, at any point in time that we start to doubt that this is where the company should go, we'll raise it and we'll put our hands up and say, hey, this is a bit too difficult for us. So, I'm really confident that we can take this further forward. I'm really excited about the news flow coming out. We've got, further mineralogical data to come through the system. We're charting how much ilmenite is actually within these in these samples. That's really important. And we're also looking at how the quality of the ilmenite, also really important for the industry. So we're going to be coming back to the market with regular updates.
So remind us before those regular updates start coming across. It's not market sensitive for me to ask you, why is ilmenite important?
Oh, absolutely. Well, ilmenite it's on the critical minerals list of, most of the major economies. European Union, the US, Australia, Japan have all listed it, and part of that is, again, look, I don't want to go into the geopolitical risks associated with supply, but you've got the large Russian supplies of ilmenite, titanium deposits. You've got China being a massive producer of downstream processing. So I think a lot of the Western countries have suddenly said, hey, we've got to make sure we've got a supply chain from a really reliable, well-developed source. I'm not unhappy at all that we found titanium. I think it's a fantastic commodity to get into.
So I've been interviewing your company for several years, prior to your arrival, and it's been through several iterations, each time new strategy, refreshed management, delays, new direction. It's costly, adding on the time it will take for shareholders to get their investment back. So how many more iterations to come, Shaun, or is this the company focused on Pitfield?
Well, certainly focused on Pitfield. I've got no hesitation in saying that. I think the mineral system, this giant mineral system at Pitfield, has a lot more to offer. So the titanium mineralisation, massive, huge scale, great commodity to get into, and we're pushing that forward. I still believe, based on all of the evidence that we had going into that there is potential for copper novelism and finding some copper deposits and quite possibly other yet to be discovered minerals. So Pitfield is the focus, let's say that. I know titanium, I know the mineral industry, so I'm quite comfortable in taking the company down that path. We have other assets, as everyone's aware. We have assets in Victoria at Staveley, Walton. We have the Jindalby Eclipse assets. So, you know, we've got a great portfolio. How we manage the rest of those projects as Pitfield becomes the dominant play remains to be seen. I think we'll be looking at, you know, segregating, farming in, trying to get value out of our whole portfolio and put the focus fairly and squarely on Pitfield.
You've got your work cut out for you, Shaun, so I'll let you go. Shaun Bunn, Managing Director of Empire Metals. Thank you very much indeed.
You're very welcome.